when most people wouldn't. Now, I think we were the first to say it. It almost seems like maybe she's a little on the spectrum, that because there did seem to be like an emotional disconnect throughout the whole thing. I don't know. I probably won't tune in much to her podcast, not because I think to your point, isn't everybody moving on? Like, what else is she going to have to say once these intimate details, which, hey, good for her, she's getting coins, are revealed? Meaning, like, okay, we're hearing about hooking up with Tom, where it happened, how it happened, what they were wearing. Then where are we going to go with Rachel Goes Rogue?
Call your good friend Bethenny Frankel and ask her what the plan is. I have to say, now I will not listen, but I listen to no podcasts ever. I'm finally listening to my first podcast ever in history. Let's be clear, with Shannon Doherty. That is the only podcast I will ever listen to, except for the Sarah Fraser show and the David Yontef show. I listen to the clips that resurface. I just found it I found her believable. Look, she also talks about Graham. We have a very difference of opinion. James says that, he's thankful. He did a post, I'm thankful in 2023 for the following things. One of them was that I have my son. My son is home with me, the love of my life, Graham. Rachel's saying now, James would kick the dog off the couch when he was sleeping, and just that the dog learned to be aggressive from James. And we have two differences of opinions here between mommy and daddy, don't we? So I don't know. I don't feel everyone else has gotten, like, look, Tom has a podcast, Jax has a podcast, Katie, to your point. I don't feel this is such a desperate money grab. I don't really, to your point, I agree, but I feel the same thing about Katie's. I heard little clips about Katie's where they were saying, we're not going to talk about Vanderpump. We're going to talk about this in life and sleep and love. And I'm like, bored. Sorry, Nick Vial, and your attempt to take over the media world. I don't know. I wasn't so blown away by Dana and Katie's podcast. I wasn't. That's just me.
Well,
But
no,
I wish them all luck.
I don't know. And then
Yeah.
at the same time, I guess if I were Rachel, I guess I'd recap the podcast episodes, because that would probably make her the most amount of money. So I don't know. It's kind of a dilemma she's in. Like, that's really all people want to probably hear.
Listen, if she were smart, here you and I are about to embark on a Vanderpump Rules recap, guys. We're going to throw in other things. Don't worry. It's going to be the same damn show. But if I were her, I would sit there with a critical eye and don't keep your emotions in it. Just be very out there. And I would recap every week of hi, this is Rachel Goes Rogue. And let me tell you, wow. Yeah, James was an asshole when we dated, but I kind of agree with him in this. The best thing to do is be a flip-flopper, because that's interesting, not to have a team or a side and then next week be like, I fucking hate Tom, but actually feel bad for him in this scene. And next week, Lala was a total bitch to me, but you know what? She's coming out strong. Like, just be honest and objective. That would be a great thing for Rachel Leviss to do.
It would. And at first, when you were saying that, I thought, is she going to have just the conflict because she wasn't emotionally well enough to go back on it, but then she'd be emotionally well enough to watch it and recap it. But it is different. It's different to be afar. Okay. I like your plan.
But let me tell you.
Lean in.
Mm-hmm. Let me tell you something. If this season of Vanderpump Rules sucks, and we're all over Ariana and her millions and Tom being kicked to the curb and all the rest of it's just old news, I'm sorry. Call fucking Rachel Leviss and get her back for season 12. Get her back.
Could be.
And then I think she'll do it. Then I think it'll be like, it's long enough. Time heals all wounds. Give me my money. Looks. We have Sammy fucking Sweetheart back on the Jersey Shore with Ronnie. Anything is possible in this world.
Is that show still on?
Sarah, yes, it is. And let me tell you something. Each person on that show,
I couldn't even tell you what network.
each of them could take a shit of money on 98% of these housewives. Like, you think your TLC shit pays poorly? I mean, Jersey Shore, they are loaded compared to our housewives.
Really?
Well,
Really?
Pauly D from,
Well, Pauly D has been. Pauly's a smart, but he's probably the smartest of them.
but the Snookers gets a lot of money. The Snookers was on Dancing with the
He
Stars.
does?
This she was on, oh my God, Snooki. She was on Messiness. Snooki's had a lot. No, they are rich, honey, rich.
Well, she did Snooki, it doesn't shock me because, she's been around going on almost 2 decades, and she did endorsement deals. I feel like
They're rich,
for the Super
honestly,
Bowl and everything else.
most of
You know what
them.
I mean? Like she did. Yeah. Does the Sitch have any money left?
He just wrote a book. The book is doing well. He just came to LA. We could have gone to the book signing this past week. We didn't. He stopped. They did have 2 fans at the podcast. One was named Spencer. One was named Heidi at the book
Saw a
signing.
clip.
Yep,
I love.
he's now gone on the Spidey podcast. So the Sitch is a good guy. I like him. I like the Sitch. I met him in a club one time in New Jersey way back in the day. Oh, the life I've lived, and here we
I
are.
didn't even know they were still on television. There you go.
No,
All
it's
right.
good.
Real quick,
Um,
Tom Girardi, we know May 21st of 2024, his trial starts
let
here
me
in
mark
Los Angeles.
let me mark the calendar for a week before.
LA Times, I have to give them credit. The most amazing, they do great entertainment stories. They claim it's going to be a pretty straightforward trial, fraud trial.
Just marked it.
Okay.
Tom Girardi. So May
Sure.
1st, I'm gonna check in with you, and we might be going
May
down to the courthouse.
21st.
We might be going down to the courthouse, Sarah. Pack your bags.
May 21st.
Call your Uber and pack your fucking bags.
Right. I love a good Uber.
They say what? It's going to be a pretty straightforward trial.
Yeah. I mean, it's a fraud trial. It's going to be pretty straightforward. And it's going to be pretty immediate and quick. Now the other thing I found interesting, I didn't realize he's also been charged with fraud in the state of Illinois, in Chicago, with his son-in-law. I don't think I even knew Tom Girardi had a son-in-law.
And by the way, they're trying to say he has a different type of Alzheimer's now, just so you know. They're still trying to fight
Yes,
this.
I know. They're trying. A slow-moving form of dementia. Blah blah blah. I don't look. I'm beating a dead horse for our audience. I think he's an absolute piece of shit. So is Jen Shaw and the Chrisleys. They all lie so much. I mean, please, he's a lawyer. He knows how to play this game.
Well, us lawyers know how to play the game, baby.
The prosecution has
Yeah.
alleged a fraud scheme at the law firm Girardi Keese that stretched back decades and involved more than 100 million. The case headed for trial concerns only 5 clients and $15 million. That's the one that kicks off May 21st. Prosecutors said they could present their entire case to a jury in less than 5 days. Girardi is now 84 years old. He was not in court for the hearing. Last week, the judge found him competent to stand trial, rejecting his legal team's assertion that he has profound dementia. I think it was so coincidental that Tom just happened to get dementia right as he was being charged. I think Tom knew for a long time. And he and Erica certainly had an arrangement. I mean, can you imagine? Like, my husband would never lie for me, but Mr. Girardi was fine shoveling her with money and making her famous and taking the fall.
And we kind of talked about this before. I talked about it somewhere, maybe on my own. But did Eric, or maybe you and I talked about it, did Erica purposely out Mr. Girardi on that podcast that she went on, where she said that he called her before Chicago or every night to us? Did she